Welcome, everybody. Darren just asked me if I was ready. Are you ready? It's an interesting question. And typically, I might answer that by saying there's some good news and bad news on the readiness thing. The bad news is that you'll never be ready. And that's the good news. You can't be ready. Stories of readiness or not quite yet. Just give me a minute. My practice has been going well. I think I'm almost ready. I'm almost ripe to fall or be picked or consumed. So the wonderfully dreadful news is that there can be no readiness. How could there be readiness for what is already? And I know it's cliched. If you go to non-duality meetings, it's terribly cliched to say there's nothing to wait for. But self is a great procrastinator. And full of hope of one day I'll be ready. No, you won't. Nothing to be ready for. No one to be ready or not. And so stories of preparation, how you can prepare yourself to be ready, are incredibly popular in all pursuits, especially spiritual ones. But all is already. No requirement of readiness. Hmm. I was waiting for someone to tell me when I'm ready. You know, some expert who can tell. Because, of course, I wasn't equipped for that job. How the fuck was I going to know when I was ready? I was the incompetent. So I needed to ask someone who possibly
Tim, you're always ready, my friend.
might possibly know. Ne Never ready, Cliff. Never.
Always ready. You're always in it. You can't be out of it. You're always ready. All you have to do is start talking and it comes. You're always ready. You're cooked.
Yeah, well, I did talk about ripening before you turned up late, Cliff, and butted in. Um,
I couldn't help it. I got distracted.
there's the thing, like you're cooked. No, there's no cooking. There's no cooking going on. There's no ripe, there's no ripening. This is as ripe as it could possibly be. This is
Precisely.
bursting at the seams with ripeness. But there's not more or less readiness or ripeness or fullness or any of that.
Yeah.
I've just been picking blackberry. I've just thought of ripeness. I've just been picking blackberries, which are uncharacteristically early this year because we've had more sunshine than we've ever had. So I'm told. And
Yeah.
the blackberries, oh, there is something special when you just, because normally you pick them and they're just not quite ready and they're still sour. And then you get one that's full and it's, wow, it's orgasmic blackberries. And sometimes life is as simple as a fully ripe, sweet blackberry. Not all the time, because there would be no appreciation if it was all the time. Yeah.
So,
Pick,
so
pick more,
to match that,
pick more blackberries.
but to match that up with what you just said, when I said you're ready and you're ripe, so
Hmm.
the unripe blackberry, right, is
Yeah.
a perfectly unripe back blackberry to so we could enjoy the sweetness of the ripe blackberry. It's perfect either way.
Yeah. It's perfectly unpleasant. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, we appreciate the ripe one when
That's
it
when
comes.
everyone. Yeah, that's why I never speak of this as perfection because of course what we do have is preference. And if you prefer sweet to sour, then you're always going to be, spitting out. There's nothing wrong with spitting out the sour blackberry of life.
Yeah, yeah.
But of course, what self says is, well, no, I just want the sweet ones. Spit them out. It's fine. Yeah. I don't like the word perfection at all. When you've been striving for it's self-love's the idealism of perfection. And of course, what we're speaking about has no ideal. This is the annihilation of idealism. This is as isism. I just made that up. And it is as it is, ideal or sweet or sour. And that's it, really. This is not a philosophy of life. This is not how it could be. This is not. This is not a way. This is not. Uh, this is not anything in particular. This is everything in particular and nothing in particular. This is stating the bleeding obvious. Totally unmissably as it is. And self will fucking say, but surely as it is only as it seems to be for me. And I want to know how it really is, because I'm a fucking know-all grandiose bastard who wants to know. I don't want just as it is for this human being. I want something a bit more, you know, it's not enough. Well, tough shit. Tough shit, you spiritual wannabe, that you want it all. You want the universe. You want to know it all, or you want to not know it all. There's no one to become more or less. This is all. There's no becoming at all. Just stories of becoming, more or less, better or worse, higher or lower. There can be no ascension. There can be no looking behind the veil. There can be no deepening. There will be stories of deepening. There will be stories of looking behind the veil, and that's what they are. Big deal. Wonderful. Life is so incredibly no big deal. But of course, I don't, it's the last thing I ever wanted. Surely my life is incredibly significant. Surely. My mother told me it was. It must be. If mummy said it, it must be true. Well, yeah, it's not that it's untrue. It's just that there isn't you to be special or ordinary. And there is nothing more extraordinary than that. That everything is wonderfully ordinary and incredibly special. But nothing and no one is more special than anything else. And so the equality of life is astounding. And it might seem to need a realization of there's nowhere to go to stop long enough, seemingly, in the story, to just stop and stare and wonder. Because while self is running, of course, it's all a bit of a blur in the speed that you're going, wherever you think you're going. And there can be disappointment that you're not going anywhere, but that is the peace. That is the rest. That is the ease. You've never been anywhere. You're not anywhere, and you're not going anywhere. And they all sound negative, but they're not at all. All of those statements are completely neutral. And I guess if you're listening to this, if you're here and listening, then you've already had the sense of you've never been anywhere, that you've never moved, that this doesn't move, that this is unmoving. Regardless of all the movement. And so I can still play the game of life being on a timeline. You know, those timelines you did in year 7 history, maybe year 8. The history teachers love a timeline. Of course they do. Who doesn't? I know where I am. I'm right on this. This is the point. This is where I exist. I exist at this point on this line. Here I am. That can just be seen for the sweet story that it is. Of course, without a timeline, there is no story. And so the stories remain, the timeline remains, but you can just see it for what it is. An attempt to make sense of, more than make sense, make significance. I know how I got to this point, and now I can plan where I move from here. Well, there's nowhere to go. I was a big Doctor Who fan. And now I can't even fantasize about getting in the TARDIS. This has fucked up all my dreams of time travel. Which, again, kind of disappointing, because I was obsessed with Doctor Who. Tom Baker was my favorite. And yeah, I mean, kids love time travel. Well, a lot of adults do. Adults who are still kids. And it is a bit disappointing that I don't want to get in the TARDIS anymore, but hey ho. There's very little point of a TARDIS if there's no time. I'm guessing Doctor Who has got to the States, has it? Yeah. Oh, and of course, I was a big Trekkie as well. I love Star Trek, and of course, if you went fast enough, warp speed, you could warp time, not just warp space, but warp time. And I was obsessed with black holes. I mean, that's a nice idea, isn't it? You know, that's a rip in the space-time continuum. What? Who's made this shit up? But yeah, I loved all of that. And it's not that I don't love it still. I still do love the stories.
Exactly the way I
But
thought.
of course, I sort of...
It went exactly the way I thought it would.
Wow, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, we just kept creaking, and then
I didn't even hear.
I've lost that now.
It's gone now. That's it. Lost in the ether somewhere. Chemo's got his hand up.
Hi, Chemo.
Hey, Tim. I just thought it just isn't enough not to be ready. And it's in a way, I come back to the school where you have to be ready when your teacher asks you, hey, do you know this and this? And it was so scary. And in a way, it was terrifying. And also when you talk about this to be ready, really a lot of not so pleasant feelings comes up, in a way, I have to defend myself, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because what self is so afraid of making a mistake and not being ready, not being
yeah,
prepared, that yeah, I'll put it off forever, because you know, that the fear will make me procrastinate. So there'll always be another thing that I have to get ready, you know. So
yeah.
so this is why I can't teach any progressive path to no self, which, you know, is very popular in lots of spiritual teachings, that you can work towards no self. Let me tell you, self isn't going to do that. Self is only interested in existence, not non-existence. It will fucking fight to the death to remain existent, to be. That's why I can never. I think being a teacher all my life, you know, practically as a profession, if I thought there could be a progressive path to what I speak about, then I would teach. I would teach you it. I genuinely would. I'd probably be really good at it. As it is, I don't, and I'm probably shit at saying there isn't a path. But, you know, again, there's no choice in that. There so obviously can't be a path. You can't get here via anywhere else, can you? I mean, do you need it spelling out any clearer? How the hell would you get here from somewhere else when there's only here? It is that outrageously simple. There is here, but you don't know where here is because there's only here. There is no there. There is only imagined. All of there is completely imaginary. Now, of course, you can imagine there, that's the past. And of course, you can imagine there, that's the future. And of course, you can imagine there, that's Australia. Oh, I've mentioned Australia again. Of course, Australia does actually really exist, but only for Australians, not for everyone else. We're all imagining Australia. Sorry, Kimo. Kimo,
It was nice.
Go on, what do you want to say?
No, it was all, and then it's funny when you then talk about this Barry, then okay, come back. We have to talk about non-duality, and it's so fucking far out. Because it's yeah, it's I can I know when some people talk about, if I have an idea, we shall talk about this and this. Okay, now we are not talking. It is in a way a waste of time or whatever. It's so yeah, it's yeah,
Well, one of the most wonderful things, of course, this is the end of there possibly being a waste of time.
yeah,
There
exactly.
is no possibility of wasting. You know how precious self is about. I mean, I've got a limited time.
Yeah,
You waste my time, I'm going to get fucking livid with you. I've got serious shit to be getting on with. And I've got a very short window. I've got very limited opportunity to fulfill my potential on this earth. And so I need to be getting on with it. Do not waste my time. Well, of course, I not only is there no me to have time to waste, there is no time to waste. It's a double whammy. You don't have time and there is no time. Whoa, what should I do? What the fuck you like? No one already, here's the thing, already no one gives a shit what you do other than you. Unless you live with somebody, or, you know, or your kids have adopted you as they've become parents to you. So the only people who were ever interested in you were your parents and your kids, because of course you can't be wasting their inheritance going enjoying yourself. I mean, I've got a very poor view of self. But isn't it wonderful that there isn't any time to waste?
Yes.
There is no time. You've never, I mean, there just isn't.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, thanks, Kieran.
Cliff has his hand up.
Cliff.
Oh, I had to wait for you to call on me. I was just looking for the unmute button. When you were talking before about, I think you said silence, stillness, but it doesn't make a difference. It's same, interchangeable. And you know, I'm thinking, when is the silence? And then I observed that the silence for me is always there when time is not present, because there is no time. So when I'm saying time, the conceptualization of time, which is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we could say. So as soon as that stops, there's silence. There's this stillness. And the other thing is, without time, in terms of physics, you have no movement, because you
No.
need time to have movement. I mean, that's the physical computation. So you kill time, you kill movement. What do you have? Stillness. It's experienced. It's truly experienced. You know, until time starts up again, and then it's like, you know, the old movie reel starts spinning. You know? Yeah.
And then,
But that's cool too, because I like to watch the movie.
but whether it, regardless of the experience, what I would say, and I don't know how this, I'm talking about something other than experience, because of course everyone experiences silence and stillness, but then they think, oh, that's what's being spoken about. But of course, the silence and the stillness are always the movement and the dance and the singing and the movie. So you might experience the silence and the stillness in the midst of the movie. In the, you know, the movie might be full on. It could be, I mean, I'll give an example. I've not forgotten when I saw the rainbow and crashed into the car in front of me. And the not happening of that extreme happening was palpable, was just really very, very obvious, undoubtable, that, okay, what had just happened didn't happen, isn't happening. There is only what's happening, and what's happening isn't happening. Now, so you could say that. So we've got the guy in front who I've run into, he's screaming in pain. I think I've killed him. And yet in it was this complete silence. So it can be when there's, you know, what I mean is, you don't have to sit in a meditative state for the silence. The silence doesn't come and go. But it may appear, it may seem to, because the movie is, you know, takes center stage.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think how I relate to that, you know, personally, you know, from my experience here.
Yeah.
You know, the silence doesn't come when I'm sitting in a meditation. I don't meditate anymore. I did for 50 years. I don't do it anymore. But I will sit on a bench and look out and just pop into the silence. You know, the leaves and the trees are moving, but I'm not calling it movement. Or I'm just sitting. It's just you know what I'm talking about. It's just the silence, and it's very pleasant. But when I'm interacting with people or having a conversation, it's different. Now, if it becomes overly stressful, all right, where I noticed it as a contraction or stress arising from it, which means I'm buying into it. I'm believing that this is, you know, I don't want to use the word real or unreal because they're real appearances. So for me, that's the way I phrase it. But then, now, again, this is me, and maybe I'm a you know, different than it'll change tomorrow. But there's still there's the movement and there's time, but there's a relaxation because I know that I'm seeing an illusion. I know I'm watching a movie. I'm still caught up in the movie, like in a theater, and I'm excited and laughing at the funny part. But I always, if it gets uncomfortable, I always know I'm watching a movie. And kind of got the two going on at the same time, but they're always flowing in and out. It's not a balanced thing. It's always, up and down, and more of this and less of that. It's just the way that it appears here. So even if you had a comment on it, Tim, and I wish you would, if you have a thought on it, but I'm thinking it's just the way that it is. I'm not
No,
going
I
to
don't.
change anything. I'm not here
I
to
don't
change it.
really.
I have no ability to.
No, I don't have any. I don't have any
Yeah.
comment on it. No, because there isn't. When you say that's just how it is here, well, that's it.
Yeah. Not
And
true, not anything, but it's just the way it.
And so what seems to have stopped happening is Cliff used to say, I wonder what's happening over there.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, it does sound as though I would be, there's complete disinterest in anyone else. But but there is, and there is an element of truth in that, because I don't care in the way that I did, because I was so needy of others' approval and to be accepted and loved and liked and admired and all of that shit. When that's in full force, then of course there's a desperation to try and I'm constantly trying to infer what you think of me, because I'm so dependent on that. Well, now I couldn't give a shit what you think of me. I would love it if you all loved me, but I don't care in the way that I did at all. Because when I say I cared, it wasn't I cared, it felt like life or death.
Yeah.
My very sense of being depended on it. And of course, I was dependent on something that I had no say over whatsoever, and I wondered why I was constantly in a state of anxiety. Self is almost, and we talk about there are people pleasers, and then there are people who are not really people pleasers. I don't think it's true. Every self is a people pleaser, because unless you live on a desert island on your own, because everyone has to compromise living with other selves, and this people pleasing as a necessity, which it certainly was for me, is just the worst curse. It's just a dreadful curse. It's constant. It's so normalized that I wouldn't have even said it was. Now it's very clearly, there's nothing much worse than that. Constant anxiety about what do they think of me? I'm avoiding any slightest hint of rejection would be dreadful. Now, I'm not saying it's that there's still not a desire to be accepted and wanted and loved. There is. There's no doubt whatsoever that I have no say over that whatsoever at all. It's nothing to do with me. So what effort should I make? Well, none. And of course, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I was always trying. Constant effort. So a lot of when I speak about ease, it's that a lot of the ease or the rest and the peace is that there's no or very little effort to please others. I just happen to be a very pleasing human being, so I might still appear pleasing, and you may well do the same. But you might not. Some people might say, well, you used to be such a nice guy, which meant you're a fucking doormat that you just would do anything to avoid conflict. That was quite a lot of personal shit there, Cliff.
Something that you said earlier, and it's just like rang so true. You're talking about preference, and preference, which is can be a problem. You know, I don't like, you know, and stress around it. And then you said its preference is because of the self, because we always look at everything as what the self wants, what doesn't want. That's the way that most people see the world.
Yeah.
From that view and that view only. But when the self drops away and you're looking at the view from the universal point of view, you know, not what happens to me, but what happens in the universe, the planets and the stars, and everything is just spinning along just fine. You know, preference for what? The only thing that there is what is. So it doesn't, the question doesn't even make sense anymore when seen
No.
from that point of view. So what you were saying before, when that self goes, when that's seen through, just that, all that weight and all that trying to people please and all that stuff just kind of goes with it. It's startling sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be startling. And yeah, it's very startling, but very ordinary.
Nothing changes.
No.
No, same shit, you know. So if you get bored later, I'll let other people talk. But if you get bored later, I'll talk to you about golf for a minute. Not my, you know, about how it relates to, you know, to what's going on here in this world. So we get bored, you know. We talked about it
Thanks.
months ago, and so I
Thanks,
resolved
Cliff.
the problem. Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna,
good.
yeah.
Thanks, Cliff.
I was just thinking about what you were saying, Tim, about your car crash, and it
Mhm.
reminded me. I had a motorcycle crash a long time ago. I was going quite fast, and I saw a car pulled out on me, and as I came over a hill, and I, I could see I was gonna hit it. So I went for the front of the car to go around the front, and then it pulled out a bit more, which was the end of it. Really, there was no, I couldn't go anywhere. So I hit the car side on and went over the top of the car. But but as soon as I saw the car when I came over the hill, everything just slowed down, complete silence. And the bike skidding, the tail whipping on it, all the sound was really subdued of the motorcycle. And I guess it's sort of like, I don't know, probably you're in a heightened sense of awareness, and all
Yeah.
of your senses are open. But that openness, that open silence is not unlike that this sort of emptiness, the boundlessness of this emptiness. It's
No.
sort of it's not as dramatic because you're in the middle of a crash, but it feels like the same. It's, I would say, somehow.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Well, it's always the same.
Mhm, mhm.
That's really
Yeah.
what we're speaking about. What we're speaking about is the sameness that can't be spoken.
Mm,
So we're talking about sameness, the
yeah.
the unchanging.
Yeah.
And we've got a few words that we can bandy about, like silence, like stillness. They're pretty much an emptiness. They're pretty
Mhm,
much as good as we've got. But of
mhm,
course, emptiness doesn't mean it's empty. Silence doesn't mean it's silent. And
mm,
stillness doesn't mean to say there's not the appearance of movement.
mm,
No, it's so not. You can't
mm,
find these things.
mm,
There's only this not a thing, this unchanging, that, of course, if it was a thing, it would be changing. All the
mm,
things seem to be changing. That's all there
mm,
is, seeming change. What it is that doesn't change is the mystery,
mm,
is the silence, is the stillness, is the emptiness.
mm.
And it's none of those
No.
because they're not things.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt, I have no idea what I'm speaking about. And if you do want to speak about this, the only way you could possibly speak about what I attempt to speak about is to have no idea of what you're speaking about, other than some ideas that you've read and you've heard these words. We only have what we've been taught as language. It's the only way we have to communicate this. But what we're speaking of, there are no words. There is no description. There is no explanation. You cannot explain everything and nothing. It doesn't make sense. The completeness of this is the complete paradoxical nature of life. So life is seemingly constantly changing, but nothing changes. Nothing remains the same. This is not coming to a conclusion. This doesn't conclude. So self is always looking for a conclusion. So can I have the final understanding? You know, you've been a Buddhist monk for 37 years, and your master dies, thank fuck, because you've been looking to him for 37 years to tell you the secret. And finally he dies, and you go, oh, fuck, yeah, of course there isn't a secret.
Yes.
This silly old fucker's dead. And, you know, that was his teaching. I mean, that was oh, nothing to get. Fucking dead.
Is asism.
Here's Raz.
No, is asism, like you said earlier. It's like
I thought you said Razism. That was
well,
Raz.
well,
Raz.
well,
Is
Razia is there.
that a new religion? Raziarism.
Razia.
Did I come up with asism earlier?
You said earlier asism.
Yes, and I was going to say,
Oh, sorry, ism.
Yeah,
Ism.
and I was going to say,
asism.
It's
I
got
think
two. There's too many ises and it's.
Yeah,
ism.
yes.
I think you should market it. I think you're not a teacher of non-duality. You're the founder of as-isism. I think you'll get a big cult following.
Asism.
Yeah, well, I need something, Michael. Yeah, I'm going to leave that with you. You work on that for me this week. As-isism.
Mm.
Raz, give us some Razism.
Well, basically, whenever we talk about this, we always forget that we have no choice. That whatever's occurring, whether you are a people pleaser or you are the one that's out there getting to people, you have no choice. You are that. Yeah, there's nothing much you can do about it.
No.
And yeah, even our preferences too. There's nothing much we can do about it.
Oh no.
Except, yeah, like I could say to you, if you resist whatever's appearing in this moment, that's suffering, you know? And if you go with the flow, then it's not suffering. So, and whatever it is, but whatever occurs is what is going to occur.
Yeah,
you know?
but as you just said, Razi, of course, if there's resistance to what is,
Yeah.
that resistance is what is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I realized.
Resistance is no less what is than acceptance.
Yeah.
And as you said, who has any say over resistance and acceptance?
Yeah, that which is talking, I don't know, because when you start to talk, who is talking? And every single one of us who is talking, it is not you, because, and then we talk about silence, right? I mean, we're all in silence, and then there's this beautiful key essence that you find in your frontal cortex. And But from that silence comes words. From the stillness comes motion. And the words that come, it's like sometimes it's a flow, you know? It just flows through you, and you cannot even connect with who's looking at you. You know, right? But now I can. But sometimes it happens that the words just flow. And it comes from the silence. The words. It's so amazing. And yeah, and we keep forgetting that we have no choice. But I mean, that's
well,
just
the
it.
thing
That
is,
is all
I
we
see,
can talk to. Yeah,
it's not really that we have no choice.
yeah,
It's that
yeah.
we
Who
have no
has
choice.
no choice?
It's like when there's no one choosing or not choosing. Now that isn't not having a choice. There are seeming choices, but there's not without. The thing is, choices are liberated in this. So choice.
Yeah.
This is complete liberation for preference and choosing, because the whole illusion that I could choose to choose what I don't want to choose. Now that's the game self plays. You've played that game a lot. Now I would like to do that, but I'm going against what I'd like to choose because this is more moral. This would be better for others. I'm being really selfless here, and I'm choosing what I don't want to choose. Well, here's the thing. You had no choice about choosing what you didn't want to choose. There was no one choosing to choose what you didn't want to choose. All the game self plays, they're just all occurring naturally. Yeah, that's the only way I could put it, really. It's no different, you know, a flower doesn't choose to turn towards the sun. It's just a preference.
Yeah. How
The
beautiful is
flower
that?
prefers the sun.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And what was I gonna say? Like, yeah, life appears a certain way. I mean, it's going to be that way. Like, sometimes you're going to get to the depths of someone's hell and someone's heaven, but it's your hell and your heaven playing out in your mind. It's not in another mind out there. How can they be, you know? So technically, we are always just like looking at the appearance, and we relating to what the appearance is and making it impersonal or personal, but there's nothing impersonal about, or impersonal about it. It's always about you. And it's how you're looking at the screen out there and interpreting what's happening on it all the time.
Yeah.
There's like, sometimes we have this running commentary here. We're looking out at the world and there's this running commentary happening in our heads. And then suddenly you say, oh God, what is happening? And there's that stillness.
Well, it could be, I don't know this, but it could be why so many non-duality speakers speak about silence is because that running commentary has shut the fuck up.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much less of that. I'm not saying that there aren't thought conversations. I think there are, but I just know there isn't that constant running commentary.
Yeah. And we try,
and of course, then of
it.
course there is a lot more. It's then life does feel more spacious, does feel quieter, without that constant monkey brain shit. I think it's a bit harsh blaming monkeys for the brain. Human brain shit, sorry.
Yeah. So beautiful. Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah,
Tim.
because
I love you.
Thanks,
I love all of you.
Thanks. Because of course the story is
Yeah.
the narration. You know, your story needs a narrator. You're the narrator, of course. Well, you're the star.
Yeah.
You're the main character. You're the narrator, and of course you've also you're playing all the minor roles as well, because every you've made those up as well. So you're playing. So in the family drama, you're playing mother, father, the youngest child, and the elder sibling who bullies you. You're playing all those parts.
Yeah.
all of them.
And it all comes together as one, you know.
Well, the thing
Finally,
is,
there's this one
it,
story.
it's funny. It doesn't even come together as one. No, it's
Oh,
just
no,
like
sorry.
it's not. It doesn't come together. It's just that there are no parts. And
I
of course,
mean, like it's felt as one. It may be like 10 different stories, but you are feeling all 10 of them, like, you know? It's like like you feel the role of the mother and you feel the role of the father until all that falls away, like, you know? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
no. I mean, no, they don't. They don't fall away. They're just seen for what they
Yeah.
are.
Yes. Thanks.
It's all storytelling all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, the stories don't end because I mean you have to die
Oh
at some
no,
point. Then that story seemingly comes to an end.
you.
But I
I've said,
don't know about that either.
no, no, I've said this before, I'm sure, but I still get a lot of people saying, "Well, you're just you're talking about the story. You're still in the story." Well, all that
Yeah.
I'm ever saying is that there is just the story. You were never in the story.
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
never in the story. You were never in the story. There are just stories about me and you. And
Yes.
they still
Yeah.
they remain. If you're going to communicate with other human beings, you can't disregard the story. That's all they'll ever speak about.
Exactly.
Don't
And
go
that's the
around
beauty
don't go
of
around
this.
talking to people about the silence and the emptiness and the hopelessness and the futility and
Yeah.
the ever presence of death. I tried that. It's not going to win you any popularity contests in the cafe or the pub.
Yeah. And also it puts people off because they feel like, oh, this is all like what it is, you know?
Yeah.
That sometimes you point into something that's not good, like. But I mean,
And I will say, I mean, we've talked a bit this evening about the movie and you know, this being like a drama or a movie. So
yeah,
that what the appearance is illusory. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the appearance is all there is.
yeah,
No, so that I'm saying the appearance is the only knowable reality.
yeah.
What we're
Okay.
speaking of, we can't speak of. No, I do attempt to speak of that, but it's not that this isn't real. I can't emphasize that enough. It's the opposite. So since I started speaking about this, it's not that life is less real. It's not like that at all. It's quite the contrary.
Yeah.
So the
I sometimes
realness,
wonder about that.
the realness of life is complete, and the realness of life is completely unreal. You will not make sense of that. This is both completely real, so it appears real, and there is only the appearance. But because there isn't something else. I was looking, I don't know if you're still looking for something else other than what appears to be. I just
No,
want, I just want to,
all
I just want
all
to
that you
say,
feel.
sorry,
Yeah.
Razza, I meant everyone. I mean, everyone, you know, do you still think, or do you still hold out hope that there's something else? That's really it for me. That's what died. All hope that there is another reality. It sort of comes back to my Doctor Who days, really. You know, dimensions, behind the veil, deeper, ascension, any kind of stories of fairy stories.
Well, once you understand this at the depth of it, you'll realize that this is that wholeness and there's nothing there, you know? So I don't know. But I mean, within that, there is the potential for everything to exist. If someone has to say, I am astral traveling, I mean, that could very well be a possibility. You understand? It's a potential. It's within this lies the potential for whatever you want to believe. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Thanks, Razia.
Thank
Let me just,
you.
David wants to say something.
Yeah.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, David.
I just landed my TARDIS, and so now I can speak to you. Yeah.
So where have you come from?
Oh, from Andromeda.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. On the loop of uncertainty. Yeah. So, it struck me as interesting that those who have just stuck their toes into the water, waded around a bit, are the only ones that can really describe it in certainty, in terms that they know what they're talking about. Once you've jumped in completely, you know damn well you don't know anything about it. It's just the most gorgeous thing that's happening, but there's no way to describe it. Now there is one exception there. Those who have great teaching skills, such as Mr. Tim, that teaching skill seems to enhance the ability to come up with words to speak without knowing. Crazy, ain't it?
It is really, yeah. It
Yeah,
is
but
crazy. It is how crazy that
it's
every week I can sit for an hour and speak about
it's
nothing.
beautiful. Yeah.
But
So
it is a pleasure, and there is and the odd thing, and it is odd that
yep,
this wants to be spoken.
it wants to be spoken.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah. I mean that it. I mean there isn't an it. Definitely not an it, but it wants to be spoken.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it does feel like love to speak about it. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
And I know there's plenty of you still not too keen on the mentioning of the L word, but there's no getting away from it. When there is nothing, and nothing matters, not even love, then it's completely undeniable that the only thing that matters is love, even though there is no love. So that's the weirdest kind of love, isn't it? Just Sophie. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Tim. I just wanted to say it's such a beautiful conversation today. Really, really
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you very much.
Really enjoy that. And I'm not really sure. I have a question, but it's very difficult to put it in words. Like I'm dealing with my sister. She's going through a difficult time, and I don't know how to say that. Like in a way, something fell away or disappeared, and I don't know. Like I'm more with her. I'm like more with her, but I feel less. Like there's very strange. Like
Yeah.
it's very beautiful, but I cannot put it in words. It's like I'm missing. I have more compassion, but I feel her less.
Yeah.
It's very odd. And in the beginning, I was thinking like, wow, I don't feel for her. I don't like. But there's more compassion.
Yeah.
Even more evident than before, but it's different. There is a lot of peace to it. But I'm I really used to feel her and to know how she feels and what
Yeah.
she's doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's very familiar, Sophie. You put it very well, can I say, how you just put that. You put that
So
really well. Because I think what we called the feeling and the caring, a lot of that was is our own fears.
yeah,
How will this impact me? What does this mean for me? Well, now it doesn't mean anything for you. It's just there's just a straightforward, open compassion for another human being who you love. And that without you, I mean, a lot of compassion, I get in the way of that. My needs and how this will impact me is often really, well, it takes priority because, you know, I'm number one for me. So there isn't that openness. So that sounds very familiar, and you expressed it really well.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And I get that
Incredible.
it might feel like less caring. There can be
Yeah.
that thought. Is this less caring? And yet the compassion is more obvious.
And there's so much more openness to whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and maybe, Sophie, also the other thing might be that you're not trying to fix it.
No. No, exactly.
Well,
And there, yeah,
that's always the most compassionate thing.
yeah. And there was a lot of trying, you know, to fix it, and probably I projected a lot of my fear on her situation.
Yeah.
And it's so strange because when there is no fear, it's much more it's so different. Yeah, very different.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome. How are we doing? 8 minutes. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who contributed. Lovely. Some nice conversations. What was I going to say? Oh, if you still might be interested in coming to Berlin in September, then just email me or have a look on the website. If not, meeting will be same time, 7 p.m. British Summer Time next Wednesday. If you're not on the email list and you'd like to be, then just email me and I'll put you on. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Tim.
All the best. Thanks, Daz.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Mhm.